She is beautiful, isn't she?
She sure is.
Think about the first time you watched Gone with the Wind. Maybe it was a rainy Sunday afternoon. Maybe your mother had it on, and you sat down meaning to watch 5 minutes and stayed for 4 hours. Maybe you were too young to fully understand everything happening on screen. But the scale of it, the color, the specific emotional weight of watching a world end, and one woman refused to go down with it, that stayed. That lives somewhere in you still. Gone with the Wind was made in 1939 for $3.85 million. Adjusted for inflation, it remains the highest-grossing film in history. And the story behind it is every bit as dramatic as the story inside it. Let's go. Number 10. 1,400 women auditioned. Production started without a Scarlett. The role of Scarlett was challenging to cast, and 1,400 unknown women were interviewed for the part. 1,400, not shortlisted, not screen-tested, interviewed, over a period of 2 years, while producer David O. Selznick searched for the woman who could carry one of the most demanding roles in Hollywood history. The start of filming was delayed for 2 years, until January 1939, because Selznick was determined to secure Gable for the role of Rhett. Here is the extraordinary thing. The iconic burning of Atlanta scene was the first scene of Gone with the Wind to be filmed. It was shot before the role of Scarlett was cast. The figures you see on the card are not Clark Gable or Vivien Leigh, but 2 doubles. The most expensive production in Hollywood history at that point started filming its most spectacular sequence without its lead actress in place. The fire was real. The star was not yet chosen. And then, on the night of the burning, someone arrived who changed everything. She was not supposed to be there. She had arranged the whole thing herself. Number 9. She watched the city burn, and Selznick knew the moment he saw her. Producer David Selznick still hadn't decided who would be best to play Scarlett, but he only needed a stand-in to start filming since the tremendous burning of Atlanta scene was one of the first. As the fire blazed in the background, actress Vivien Leigh joined Selznick on the director's platform after wangling an introduction from his brother, and was called in for a screen test immediately. Leigh had engineered the entire encounter. She orchestrated an introduction to David O. Selznick through his brother Myron Selznick, who was her partner Laurence Olivier's agent and had agreed to take her on as a client. She positioned herself at the precise moment the fire was burning, the most dramatic backdrop imaginable, and let Selznick see her standing against it. Leigh was English, and she didn't change her accent. When she gave her first informal reading, she read it anyway, with the Atlanta skyline burning behind her. And Selznick, by every account, knew immediately. But getting the role was only the beginning of what Vivien Leigh would endure to keep it. Number 8. 3 directors. Secret Weekends. 1 Oscar for The Wrong Man. The original director, George Cukor, was fired shortly after filming began and was replaced by Fleming, who in turn was briefly replaced by Sam Wood while taking some time off due to exhaustion. Cukor was dismissed 18 days after Leigh started work. Gable wanted him gone, fearing that Cukor, known as a woman's director, was focusing too much on Leigh. But here is what nobody announced publicly. Both Vivien Leigh and Olivia de Havilland continued to be secretly coached by Cukor on weekends. The director, who had been fired from the production, was still directing its 2 lead actresses, quietly, privately, every weekend, while the official director shot during the week. Fleming didn't get along with Selznick or Leigh and walked off the film claiming a nervous breakdown. Director Sam Wood was brought in as his replacement. After 2 weeks, Fleming came back, and both he and Wood directed different scenes on different sets at the same time to finish the film. 3 directors, 1 secret. In the end, only Fleming got screen credit and the Best Director Academy Award. And while all of this chaos was unfolding, the 2 leads were enduring something considerably more personal. Number 7. He ate garlic before their scenes. She was paid 1/5 of his salary.
Kiss me. Kiss me once.
Vivien Leigh hated kissing Clark Gable because of his horrific breath, said to be caused by his chain smoking and false teeth. But Clark was also spotted eating garlic cloves before his scenes with his leading lady. Whether deliberately or through spectacular obliviousness, The man playing the great romantic hero of American cinema was making the kissing scenes as unpleasant as possible for his co-star. He is reported to have once told her, "Miss Leigh, you can stick this script up your royal British ass." And then, there is the matter of the money. Vivien worked on the film's set for 125 days, compared with Clark's 71 days, but was paid a fifth of what he earned. She was on set nearly twice as long. She carried the film on her shoulders from the first scene to the last. She was paid 20 cents for every dollar he received. The woman who gave the performance that made Gone with the Wind immortal was compensated accordingly by the industry that celebrated her for it. And here is the extraordinary thing. She was not even the author's first choice. Before we keep going, how old were you the first time you watched Gone with the Wind? Just the number. Drop it in the comments right now. Number 6. Margaret Mitchell didn't want either of them. Margaret Mitchell's first choice to play Rhett Butler was Basil Rathbone. Her first choice for Scarlett was Miriam Hopkins, the woman who created these characters, who had lived with them for years before anyone else read a single page, did not see Gable or Leigh when she pictured the people she had invented. She saw Basil Rathbone, known then for elegant, slightly sinister roles, as the charming rogue. She saw Miriam Hopkins, sharp, ambitious, southern, as the woman who would not be broken. Neither of them were cast. The two people the world now considers inseparable from these roles, whose faces are the faces of Scarlett and Rhett in every imagination that has encountered this story since 1939, were not the choices of the person who built them from nothing. Mitchell's vision was overruled by the reality of what Selznick found, and what he found, in the firelight of a burning Atlanta, was better than anything Mitchell had planned, and the film they all built together became something that no number from 1939 can fully explain. Number 4. Gable threatened to boycott. She talked him out of it. Then she stayed home. Because of segregation laws in Atlanta, Hattie McDaniel was banned from the premiere of Gone with the Wind in 1939. The Loews Grand Theater on Peachtree Street was a whites-only establishment. Clark Gable threatened to boycott the premiere unless McDaniel was allowed to attend. He was furious. He made his position clear. And then she convinced him to attend anyway. Think about what that required of her. The woman being excluded, the one who had been denied entry, talked the man protesting her exclusion into attending without her. She convinced her own ally to stop fighting for her, because she understood something Gable did not, that his boycott would cost him more than it cost the system, and that the system would not change because one actor stayed home. So she sent him in, and she stayed outside. And the premiere of the most celebrated film of the decade happened without the woman whose performance made it unforgettable. And then came the night she won the Oscar. And what happened that night is something that needs to be said plainly. Number 3. She won the Oscar. At a table. In the back of a room. She wasn't supposed to be in.
This is one of the happiest moments of my life.
When McDaniel attended the 12th Academy Awards at the Coconut Grove nightclub in the Ambassador Hotel, she was not shown to the Gone with the Wind table where Selznick sat with de Havilland, Vivien Leigh, and Clark Gable. Instead, she was taken to a small table set against a far wall, where she took a seat with her escort and her white agent. The hotel had a strict no blacks policy. Selznick had to call in a special favor just to have McDaniel allowed into the building. He used a personal relationship with the hotel management to get an exception made, for one night, for one woman, so that the most celebrated performer in his film could be present at the ceremony celebrating it. She was permitted in. She was seated apart. She was not placed at the table where her name would have naturally belonged. On February 29, 1940, Hattie McDaniel took home the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, becoming the first black winner in the Academy Awards history. She walked to that stage from a table against the far wall. She accepted the award with grace and dignity that the room around her had not earned, and she went home to a city that was still divided by the same lines that had kept her out of the premiere 2 months before. And then she made a final wish, and it took 60 years for anyone to honor it. Number 2. Her Oscar went missing for 60 years. The replacement arrived in 2023. One of McDaniel's final wishes was to donate her Academy Award to Howard University. The Oscar was given to the university, but it went missing in the 1960s. The Academy did not send a replacement until 2023, the first Academy Award ever won by a black performer. the trophy that represented a barrier broken, one that would not be broken again for another 24 years. When Sidney Poitier won in 1964, given to a university that honored her legacy, lost some time in the chaos of the decade that followed, and for 60 years, while the film it celebrated kept playing, kept generating revenue, kept being taught in schools and preserved in archives, the physical object of McDaniel's achievement was simply gone. The Academy sent a replacement in 2023. The award now has a home in the Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts at Howard University, 83 years after she won it, 71 years after she died. The replacement arrived in a world that had changed considerably since the night she walked from a table in the back of a room to accept it. Whether it changed enough is a question the replacement trophy cannot answer. And there is one final thing about where she was buried and what had to be done about it. Number 1. She was refused burial. A memorial came 47 years later. Tyler Perry built the monument. After her death, McDaniel was denied burial at the Hollywood Cemetery because of her race. The first black person to win an Academy Award, the woman who wore white gardenias in her hair on the night she made history. The actress whose performance in a single film opened a door that the entire industry walked through after her, denied entry to the ground where the industry buried its own. She was buried at Rosedale Cemetery in Los Angeles. In 1999, 47 years after her death, the Hollywood Forever Cemetery erected a cenotaph in her honor. Not her grave, a cenotaph, a memorial marker in a place she was not permitted to be laid to rest. In 2021, Tyler Perry paid for a full monument to her memory, ensuring that the physical acknowledgement of what she had done would exist in permanent form in a place where people could find it. Her Oscar was missing for 60 years. Her grave was refused. Her replacement award took 83 years to arrive. Her monument required a filmmaker to fund it privately because no institution moved quickly enough to do it first. And yet, the film she made in 1939, the one that paid her a fifth of what it paid her male co-star, that barred her from its premiere, that seated her in the back of the room at its ceremony, is still playing, still being watched, still carrying her performance inside it, intact, permanent, indestructible. Hattie McDaniel gave everything she had to this industry. That is gone with the wind. All of it. The beauty and the cost together. That one is next. We will see you in the next one.